The Washington Post thinks that veterans who are currently receiving disability benefits should get those benefits taken away to save the government some money. Wow. This Washington Post article took information options from the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, on potential ways to save the federal government money. Specifically, taking disability compensation away from wounded veterans to save the government more money over time. Now, I already broke down that CBO option, if you want to call it, on a prior video. Check that out before you even see this.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Because there's so much information, and I break it down in a quick, digestible format, and it'll bring you up to speed as to just how unbelievably tone deaf this opinion article now is. And I'm going to touch on why that CBO option and this, just on the basic level, inconsiderate, this opinion article now is. After I break down this Washington Post article that has to do with the option from the CBO, I'm going to talk about how the two, forming together, have now become a larger issue concerning veterans and disability compensation overall. And you can bet this one's gonna be demonetized like the last one was. Heaven help, I talk about veterans benefits and stick it up for our fucking soldiers and shit. So, like, share it, buy a shirt. Thanks for your support. Let's get started. And this opinion article just really kicks it off right from the get-go. Opinion: veterans deserve support. But that's like starting out with, I'm not racist, but before you say a joke you probably shouldn't have and end up getting suspended or fired. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we just stop it right there. But no. Let's read on. Veterans deserve support, but one benefit program deserves scrutiny. Jeez. What? I'm not even going to call it a benefit program anymore. It's disability compensation. It is not a benefit if you lose your legs and you get money because you're trying to live a normal life, and that's what that money's for, assisting you in living a normal life. So then that injury doesn't affect you as much as you continue your normal life. So I'm going to call it disability compensation from now on, because it seems like benefit is specifically used in this article to smear veterans as if we're some sort of lazy bums just suckling off the government teats for a little extra cash. How appropriate. The photo that they use is military servicemen crawling under barbed wire with stars over it. It's probably them trying to get to the VA to get their disability. Oh, here we go. Here's that hefty butt, that 3-letter middle finger coming right at us. America must keep faith with its military veterans. We owe the greatest debt to those who risk their lives to keep us free. But the promises America has made to the women and men who have served in uniform are due for a review. Oh my, are we? I was pretty sure they get checked every year. You know, the fiscal year that's annually checked upon. Oh no, maybe I'm dumb. I don't write for the Washington Post. Maybe I need to get the dicks out of my ears, or eyes and mouth, and just read a little bit better. Sorry, I don't have Ivy League education. Let me try and break this down. The budget for the Department of Veteran Affairs has grown at a dramatic pace since 9/11, from roughly $45 billion to $300 billion. Yeah, dude, 20 years of war will make people get hurt more. Just simple math. All right, I know you're an English major, I was too. But let's math this out for a second. The longer war goes, the more people get hurt. Mind-blowing.
Is math related to science?
Many factors contribute to the sharp rise in veteran spending. Aging of post-9/11 veterans, numerous enhancements made by Congress to existing benefit programs, and a more muscular outreach by the department to alert veterans to the care and benefits on offer. The veterans of Iraq, Afghanistan, and other post-9/11 conflicts have higher disability rates compared with all veterans, the result of improved battlefield medicine and a broader understanding of the array of service-connected injuries and disabilities. Oh no! We're saving wounded veterans in combat! At least far too many for the Washington Post. Oh yes, we should have all just died overseas and not gotten any of that good medical training to keep us alive. We should have just died, so then our families would have got that $100,000 benefit, a folded flag, and we wouldn't have to worry about us, right? Wow! What is this, a Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge? wage.
But some would rather die.
If they'd rather die, then they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
They would rather that veterans just got injured and then shut up about it. We won't have any advances in any medical practice to identifying the issues with them. We'd rather they just suffer silently and die. Oh, here we go. If we owe our veterans every support, we also owe them a measure of fiscal responsibility. Oh, look at this. The backhand is masked with a compliment. I mean, if we owe them support, oh yeah, here's your carrot, then we owe them fiscal responsibility. Pow! Take that benefit away. Take them benefits away because we care. We care about you, so we're taking away your compensation, not benefits. The department's budget is comprised chiefly of two parts. Roughly half provides health care to veterans.
That's a good thing.
It is the other half, the portion that provides for income and disability payments that lawmakers should scrutinize. Tell me more. Tell me more about the guy that got blown up in a Humvee, rolled over, had his spine crushed, lost his friend, has PTSD. Tell me more about his disability needing to be reevaluated. Tell me more. Oh, golly gosh, I'm excited to know. Maybe it's the fact that I can't have a normal conversation with people because I got ringing in my ears and I gotta scream and try and read lips. You know what? That's easy. That's just too low on the totem pole. I should get my benefits taken away from that, right? Or I don't know how those ruck marches and going up and down the hills of Afghanistan and I got my knees all broke to shit and I can barely kind of walk around, but I'm doing it because, I don't want to be a burden to all my friends and family. But you know what? I'm still moving and I still have use of limbs, so maybe I should get my benefits taken away. Which injury should be more scrutinized, Washington Post? Should it be the PTSDs or the physical wounds, like he was just grazed, like so that doesn't count? Or, like he got blown up, so he got a TBI, which one deserves more scrutiny? Disabled veterans return to the workforce at nearly the same rate as veterans without disabilities. By contrast, Social Security disability payments go only to those who cannot work. Gee whiz. I know you guys at Washington Post are super duper smart, but let me educate you. Social Security and a disability compensation are different. Once again, disability compensation is for when a guy loses a leg. It's not to say that he can't work no more. The compensation is so that this person with an injury, the no fucking leg having guy, can get a prosthetic so that his injury can be taken care of financially so that he can continue his life as normally as possible. Once again, this injury sustained because you can't say no when you get deployed to Afghanistan. If you sign on the dotted line and they say you gotta go, you don't have a choice. Once again, this means testing rears its ugly head on veterans who have a disability, not a retirement program. Lawmakers should consider means testing disability benefits for veterans who are higher earners. The Congressional Budget Office estimates limiting payments for veterans who earn more than $170,000 a year would save $253 billion over the next decade. Now I implore you, once again, to watch the previous video that I made about the CBO suggesting this. That $170,000 is gross, all-encompassing. That means no taxes removed from it. And it's from your entire household. So, if your wife is a nurse and makes $170,000 a year before taxes, you, as her husband who has no legs in a wheelchair, on dialysis because your shit's fucked up, will get zero benefits. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that's gonna cost a lot of money, that dialysis and shit. So now you're taking money away from the good old wifey that's working hard to make sure that you can be taken care of. Wow, way to put the burden on the wife. Good job, Washington Post. Glad you support that, you fucking animals. None of these steps would be politically easy. No shit. That's why us veterans stick together and have to email, write hand jam letters to text, Snapchat, Grindr, our freaking representatives and say, you do this, you're voted out, you're gone, you're done. Go ahead, touch them. touch the compensation for disabled veterans. The guys that you voted to send over there that had no choice in the matter. You go take those away. Take those away. See how fast your fucking seat in the Senate lasts. And here we go. My favorite 3-letter F word. But the moral responsibility Americans have to those who fought for the country is of diminished value if it does not align with the fiscal responsibility Americans have to keep their financial house safe and sound. That sounds really wordy, doesn't it? Geez, it's almost like these smart cats at the Washington Post wanted to put some $5 words up there so us, us normal folk here who are too goddamn stupid to get a normal job and serve in the United States military. It's like we can't read that, you know what I'm saying? So let me break this down so all of us dummies can get it appropriately. And we can understand what the hell this beautiful young man, woman, child, he, him, zim, zer thing is saying at the Washington Post. America's moral responsibility, how much Americans feel like they need to support the troops, is directly affected by how much money they gotta pay. So, if we gotta pay a bunch of money to these broke-ass veterans, Americans ain't gonna like us no more. The Washington Post's opinion editors think that Americans will dislike service members just because they cost them a little bit of money. And that's it. It's not because, there's generations of family history and pride supporting our country. Or, now this might sound strange for somebody writing in the Washington Post, maybe we just don't prioritize money as much as you. Maybe the individuals that could and have laid down their lives for the people of the United States of America, maybe that is a debt that all Americans gladly pay. That's right, Washington Post. Maybe Americans aren't that shallow. Maybe they don't only care about money. Yeah, it's a big deal, because hey, hitting on the struggle bus sucks. Maybe they need that little additional amount of compensation for their disabilities because they don't make a lot of money. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. Sometimes Americans are just good all-around people that aren't like you, that don't need to be motivated by the almighty dollar. Maybe they're motivated by brotherhood, or, like the Army says, leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. Maybe these values that the military instills in every young soldier, sailor, marine, etc. Maybe those are what matter. And maybe footing the bill for 20 years of putting everybody through a bunch of bullshit just to watch Afghanistan fall. Maybe that's worth it. Maybe it's the smallest amount that we can do to let the future generations of veterans know that we care and that no matter what they go through, we've got their backs. Now, that's not the end of this story. I told you at the beginning I was going to tell you how the CBO's option to remove veteran benefits for those that make too much money and some other things. You really need to check out the previous video. And this Washington Post article coming up at the same time is a big deal, a red flag. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that messaged their senator and any representative that they had about the CBO's option, saying you better take it off the table. You did a great job, and a lot of people heard you. In fact, the Secretary of Veteran Affairs went on a press conference and said, we're not going to do that. And everybody thought that it was over. That scared me. Because the Secretary of Veteran Affairs has no power whatsoever on passing, allowing, or stopping, preventing that option from going through. He's not in charge of his budget whatsoever. He's told what he gets, what he doesn't get, and then to deal with it in the best way that he can. The Secretary of the VA saying we're not going to put that in place, that option to remove disability compensation for veterans. It's like a kid telling his friends that I'm not going to accept any less than $5 from my mother in allowance. That kid is in no way, shape, or form in charge of how much allowance he gets from his parents. His parents decide that. Just like the VA secretary has to take whatever Congress gives him. So no, this fight is not over. And the Washington Post article shows that. put on my tinfoil hat, but why else would such a prestigious newspaper, column, whatever you want to call it, say, hey, you know what, this is a pretty good idea. I think that we should really look into this, take it seriously. I mean, we've got to look at everything, right? Well, I think it's because it's warming up its moronic readers into telling senators, representatives, governors, etc., that it might be time to take away disability from veterans. Now, I know the CBO has argued it already, and I'm sure the Washington Post will do the same. They say, listen, this is just an option, all right? It's not even like a thing yet. These are just us, like, rolling around numbers. Cool. Why haven't they done it for, I don't know, taking free lunches away from kids at school? I mean, it's on the same par, right? Why didn't they put that on there? Oh, because we would never think about doing that. Oh, wait a second. I thought you were never thinking about doing that for veterans. Oh, but wait. But here we are. All over the CBO. All over the Washington Post now. With morons gobbling this shit up. Saying, hey, I think maybe we are paying veterans too much. And once again, it's not paying them because they did a good job. It is compensation for the injuries that they received overseas so that it can assist them in living a normal life once again. Now, you can feel free to Google this Washington Post article and the editors of this article, the opinion column, where this article was. And you can find their emails. Now, I don't want you to harass them. I don't want any mean messages to them. No threats, no bad stuff. But if you did feel like you wanted to email them on those very public posted emails on the Washington Post editorial page, I would probably tell them that's not a good idea. Or that's a bad look. But I'll see you next time, weirdos. Share the video. Let the boys know that you're thinking about them. Let them know that this is some bullshit going on. Or buy a shirt, like I said, at my website, angry-cops.com. Be a part of the E4 Mafia. Do sketchy shit. Like send out emails to people on the Washington Post about how dumb they are. Or not.